battle for love is one that can make or break you, as competition over a girl's heart will turn your heart into... You have in Joji Jin, the man who makes you see every insecurity in every inconceivable way possible. And then you have Okuren, who screams underdog at every twist and turn when it comes to locking in the heroine. That heroine? Ayase, Momo, with the power of the unseen hands. Where will this perceived love triangle take us? Who knows? But in the meantime, the plot must thicken, and so does the creepers. For this video, we're going to be talking about Dan Dan, episode 12. Noroi no Ie, let's go. For this arc, the author looked at Aida and said, I'll retire ya. We're back at the demonic Ayase abode of Momo and her little demonlings, as the episode opens up with the aftermath of Chase Your Woman If You Really Want Her metaphor. That is the love between the two lovebirds, Taro and Hana, that Ken projects on the situation with Momo. It's this realization that his manhood does in fact exist and that his sights are set on regaining his golden single jingle. Unfortunately for Ken, he only realizes this because he must face the worst of the worst, NTR. After Ayase Baba agrees to allow late night yokai lovey-dovey action, Okuren witnesses a man's worst nightmare, the emasculation that is NTR, right in front of him, laughing, cracking jokes, being all flirty. Remember folks, you never go full NTR. Gigi helps Momo with setting up the table for dinner and even picks up a lint off of Momo's head. This is the kind of behavior no man with both single jingles and a long snapper would allow to happen to his girl or his future girl. He mans up 2/3 of the way to flirt back with Momo with his own pickup of the lint and with the help of the table, and even gets ready to wrestle this goddamn tall, handsome, considerate bastard that can literally have any other girl, but he wants his. No matter how awkward Okuren is when it comes to defending his honor, it's better than watching himself almost being fully NTR'd, and is one step closer for Ken to outright show his romantic love for Momo. Of course, the story willfully plays with our emotions and plays into a girl's ignorance. That is, it's just two dummies, boys being boys. But in reality, they are dueling over her heart right in front of her. Once again, the story teases the NTR with Momo going to Gigi's house alone, just the two of them, to exercise some creeps. However, Momo saves the situation right away by saying that she was always going to ask Okuren to go with them. It's that time of the night Taro goes to meet his beloved Hana, as agreed with the permission of Ayase Baba. But, well, after thinking Taro was going to plow Hana, it looks like Taro was the one that got plowed, delaying his most precious time of the night to go meet his woman. Look at this cute couple that no one actually cares about in the story, but will be useful for plot's sake, and acts as that metaphor that it's never too late, Okuren. Even while your woman is there waiting for you to make your move, like Hana, Momo will be there sleeping, standing up, or on the ground, waiting for the Chad you really are to manifest itself. Until then, know the pain. That is NTR. Forget about the NTR that's proliferating all in your heart, full of jealousy and powerlessness. As we get to plotting, Gigi is being terrorized by a certain yokai that just won't allow him to get a good night's rest. And that right there is the opening of the episode. Wrapping up the whole Taro and Hana situation, relationship-wise, the story clearly uses them for a successful romantic relationship dynamic, or what it could be for Ken and Momo's story of coming together. But like most romances, confessions are one of the biggest, if not the biggest payoff of the entire show, of an entire story. If we're being real, no one is actually expecting Momo to be the one to seal the deal. It has to be Ken. So since it is Ken, expect this to be a very slow build up for him to really be the Chad he was always meant to be. I mean, the plot is literally him finding his golden single jingles. With the dynamics between Ken, Momo, and Injoji, the story is always just gonna dance around these NTR-like situations during all these slice-of-life moments. So leave it up to the plot to remove us from these painful NTR scenarios. Since Ken and Momo won't publicly confess and become a legitimate item, the threat of other perceived suitors are naturally going to be there. And the story will just constantly flaunt those NTR kind of scenarios right in front of our faces. The fearsome threesome of Momo, Ken, and Joji make their way to the creepy home that is Gigi's nightmares on a train. Ken still just watching himself get NTR'd and how everything he lacks is sitting right next to Momo. It's a feeling we all refuse to acknowledge publicly, but our insides says it all. We are all looking for our own golden single jingles, as Ken must literally focus on finding his if he ever wants to stop watching himself get NTR'd. Look at them laughing, enjoying their time and company together, and Ken just talking about his golden single jingles. Okaden rushes to change the subject to woo Momo back to his side with his Chad occult knowledge of Tsuchinokos, which leads to the naturally talented Chad Injoji to talk about his own town's legend of a great snake at the Tsuchinoko shrine that they worshipped that happened specifically 200 years ago. I mean, storytelling never leaves words to be wasted, right? So I'm sure a giant whopping snake that isn't Okaden's may or may not reveal itself to the entire world. Once again, Injoji is just too good at one-upping Ken at every little turn and getting Momo to be closer and closer. But have you heard of the Kappa, the Nessie, and other occult stuff? While Ken sees NTR, Momo sees friendship. Ken is experiencing the want to hate such a nice, friendly, considerate, tall, handsome son of a bitch. But Injoji is just that. It's hard to hate and not be friends with a guy so nice, friendly, considerate, handsomely tall son of a bitch. Son of a goddamn bitch. He's just too damn likable. But a friend's a friend, even if they end up being Eskimos. While the train carries a newfound friendship and respect with a sprinkle of NTR, it is now Gigi's home, where there's a hot spring, jeepers creepers, and nightmares. Gigi's father is a researcher of volcanoes that work at a local college. That's ultimately why his family ended up where they ended up. But surely volcanoes erupting specifically 200 years ago doesn't align with some giant snake and doesn't align with creepers. Momo, Ken, and Jin climb their stairway to hell. I mean Gigi's crib. Wait a minute, Moichiro. This may be subtle, but the story is telling you just how talented Gigi is. With all these scenes of them climbing up these stairs, with Momo and Ken totally pooped. While Momo happily informs Gigi that she doesn't see actual spiritual auras around his house, it is Ken that feels the uneasy feeling of creepers. Momo reassures Gigi that there are no yokais currently, but it is likely that they are hiding deep, deeper, and deeper somewhere. You know what the story needs another helping of? NTR. Gigi is happy to hear that Momo isn't afraid of some weak yokai that's currently hiding itself, so he starts to massage her shoulders. Before the story wants to go deeper into the NTR rabbit hole, Momo quickly takes us back out of that by offering a seat right next to her to Okaden. But that was just an okie doke. Yure, yokai, NTR. Thou shalt not give you the relief of the payoff of the special Okaden and Momo romantic moment as she, Momo, takes this downtime to go to the hot springs alone, deep, deeper, and deeper into the land of the creeps. Just when Gigi came back to deliver some goodies and a little bit of NTR, Momo ditched both of these fools for her independent self. And so Gigi offers Ken a tease of NTR and friendship at the same time as they decide to play a little bit of soccer with each other. It's another subtle scene to contrast Gigi's talented, athletic nature versus Okaden's klutz, which leads to another great trait that Gigi has that is mounting more and more to not being able to hate the guy that's always NTRing you. It is the self-awareness that is Gigi and his ability to just be upfront. As he asks Okurin,
モモのこと好き?
screw this guy! But he'd be a very good friend. In Momo's point of view, Momo is already chilling at the hot springs, and within her point of view, her heart is only in one place, and you and I both know where that lies, and that doesn't ever need to be said until the time is right. As she thinks it's best to leave Gigi and Okurin alone, so they can bond, and so that Okurin can finally have a male friend. It's this kind of lack of awareness of a man's intentions from a female perspective, but can be so endearing at the same time, because we all know her perspective of where her heart truly lies for this one guy. Okurin still can't beat Alpha with his feelings for Momo, so he explains that Momo is someone he respects. But Gigi is like, I totally respect her too. In her face, in her personality. The Koigataki competition is totally on, as Okurin tells him. On top of the respect, he loves her face and personality too, which leads to Gigi one-upping him again because he likes her eyes as well, which leads to another female body part, because when it comes to the ladies, it all starts with objectification. While Okurin and Gigi fight over Momo with who one up the other more over Momo, Ken has clearly won with this, and this is actually a common occurrence between guy friends. When we all like the same girl, at the end of the day, bro code, but let the best man win. So let's shake on it. The scene jumps back and forth between Momo at the hot springs and Ken and Enjoji as we get closer and closer, deeper and deeper into the plot. It is we, the creepers. What's an alien ditty to a real diddler? In the flesh! As Momo tries to finish up her hot springs visit, she doesn't realize that the hot springs she chose includes everyone, including diddlers. Look at this hot, naked Ojo-chan, or the old man the Ugo, McDougal, and rise like they have never risen since puberty. Gigi and Okurin continue their horseplay and fight over Momo. However, it is Ken that finally realizes, oh snaps, the plot is here and a piece of Gigi's house just grew a room. We're going deeper and deeper into the creeper and creeper. There's a naked teenager for the creepers. What's the need for alien diddlers when they're homegrown as they jump in the water and slowly approach poor Momo? It flips back to Okurin and Gigi, checking out where the hell this room came from, as Gigi reveals that the house is actually just a rental, and there has to be a reason as to why his parents ended up in the hospital. As it flips back to Momo being creep blocked, the creepers inch closer and closer and ask Momo about gators. While gators like the human flesh to consume, human gators like unprotected Haraka no Onanoko to take full advantage of. Gigi breaks a hole in the wall of this mysterious room that came out of nowhere, and what Gigi and Okurin find is something dark, sinister, no good at all. Momo gets ready to use her unseen hands, but what she doesn't see is an unseen attack by a diddling creeper. This episode actually sets up the big picture plot of this entire story. That is Ken and Momo's romance through Taro and Hana's love story. It's going to be a long, painfully enduring, but at the end of the day, even though Taro got ran into by a train, and so no matter how much NTR Okurin has to suffer through, Momo is going to be there waiting for him at the end. While the story does legitimately make a lot of NTR moments to make everyone jealous for Ken, the story does just enough for Momo to say enough to do enough to continually make the audience still recognize that Momo's heart and her perspective is really through the lens for her love for Kin. And that is really summed up at the hot springs moment, as in her eyes, she wanted Gigi and Okuren to be friends or kin. Not once has she mentioned her love or anything romantically feeling for Gigi, at least not yet or ever. So before we really had these NTR-like moments from Momo's perspective using Ida and Kin, now we're in the reverse, where Kin had the real Momo back in. Momo is now using the story to reel Kin back in, from preventing the story from going full NTR. While the relationship dynamics matters the most to us, I think some of you guys don't believe me when I say that Joji is the ideal man archetype. He literally has all the characteristics that girls typically gravitate towards. And the story has done little subtle things to already tell us that is how we should think about this person. Okuren is literally the underdog opposite of Joji. That is the purpose of Kin's character, to provide the perspective that when a guy is not confident and becomes confident, a guy that is short, four-eyed, and likes weird stuff like the occult can pull a girl like Momo. While at the same time, Gigi is literally, objectively better than Kin in almost every checkbox category that a girl would write down on a piece of paper for their ideal guy. Except you can't replace experience and bonds that have been built. That is why people get jealous. Because when you build a bond with someone of the opposite gender, it's natural for that bond to start to become romantic. In this episode, it just showed many ways of everything I just said to contrast those differences between Kin and Gigi. I mean, what did Gigi literally do to Okuren the entire episode? He one-upped them. But at the same time, the story does a good job to show that no matter how much we try to hate Joji is a good guy. He's objectively a very good human being that really doesn't deserve the hate coming from his perspective. He's in a messed up situation that just so happened to take him back to his childhood friend that he is probably now just realizing that he always liked her. And that's not really his fault. And these feelings probably all manifested before Momo even met Okuren. So while as the audience from Kin's perspective, we want to hate Joji, it's just hard not to. And we're gonna continually see why. So romance aside, there's nothing like a mysterious shonen plot that accentuates the romance and also helps explore the character development on an individual basis, and especially of Gigi's character. This arc is allowing him to shine even more. In the previous episode, he came off as a lot more annoying, but now we get to see all the qualities that makes it hard to hate him. As Ida had her arc with acrobatic Silky to help propel her character into the story, Gigi is now showing why he is becoming a valuable asset to the Dandadan story. That's not just romantic related. Oh yeah, there's nothing like the unique theme of creepers in the show. I think many people are scared to say that they like this aspect of the Dandadan story, but it is a huge theme of the story, from the wacky and dark. Because what matters most in the story when you use characters like these alien ditties, it is the punishment of these creepy qualities. I think that is the most important outcome of using these kind of characters when you go the very dark route. I don't think there's nothing wrong with using dark characters doing dark things, but when the story punishes them, that is the payoff for plots like this. So yeah guys, let me know what you guys thought about this episode of Dandadan episode 12. I'm sure maybe by the time this video comes out that they will announce the second season. But yeah, for these videos, I like to cover the anime up until this point. I like to enjoy the process of the anime, of the story building itself up. I don't like really talking about spoilers because I like to enjoy the journey. The story is all about the journey and what it potentially sets up. And this is why I cover mostly anime. We get to enjoy the speculation like manga fans, and we don't need to spoil ourselves to enjoy the story and what it potentially sets up. Regardless of all you manga fans knowing what happens. Just enjoy the process. So yeah guys, let me know what you guys thought about this episode of episode 12. And do me a favor, hit the like button for the Okuren and Momo ship. And subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. And check out my blog at otakusen.com. And I appreciate you guys watching. And I'll see you guys on the next video.